The ANC will this evening share details of its investigations into the highly contested Johannesburg conference, which saw Dada Morero losing the leadership of the region to Loyiso Masuku. Weeks after the conference, ballots were discovered at a house in Pretoria, leading to an investigation by Luthuli House. Ziniko Mhlaba joining us live now from Luthuli House at the headquarters. Ziniko, good evening to you. Is this going to be a media briefing addressed by the Secretary General? Is that the understanding? And how far have investigations gone from what you hear?
Well, Xoli, it is going to be a meeting between the Johannesburg region alongside their provincial structures, but also meeting with the Secretary General of the ANC over the matter you have just captured. So we've been invited really to listen and, get some insights in terms of how far those investigations have gone on. So it might not necessarily be a full-blown out media briefing because we're not sure whether that report has been concluded or not. You will remember that there was a conference that took place early in December, which was, a regional conference of the ANC. As we know that, all the structures of the ANC are holding their conferences ahead of that much anticipated, national conference that is going to take place. So this particular, especially in the first quarter of 2016, we're seeing a lot of regions, going into conferences, and by March, we're going to be seeing a lot of provinces going into conferences. So you remember actually the bone of contention in this particular conference that took place here in Johannesburg was the discovery of those ballots at a home in Pretoria. So every conference of the ANC largely is always contested, and this highly contested conference was between, especially when it comes to the top position of this region, was between Dada Morero, who was the incumbent at the time. He was also serving as the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg. He was contested by a former deputy secretary of the ANC before that conference, and that was Loyiso Masuku, who went on then to win that conference. So the discovery of those ballots created and sparked a lot of debates within the factions of the ANC in Johannesburg, especially those that went to that conference supporting Dada Morero, saying that, well, the votes might have been manipulated, and those who are pro Loyiso Masuku going into that conference are saying that, well, let's see how the investigations are going to go and what are going to be the outcomes. But there are also people who are saying that, why is this particular matter now being investigated? There have been some ballots that were discovered, post previous conferences elsewhere within the ANC structures, and there was never such a huge, debate about the credibility of that conference. So what is going to happen this evening? The ANC region, especially in Johannesburg, is going to be meeting with their provincial counterpart, which is the higher up structure of Gauteng. They will be meeting with the Fikile Mbalula to really engage on that report. So we're not sure whether, it's going to be a feedback type of, a meeting where Luthuli House is briefing Gauteng and the region about the outcomes of their investigations, or it's going to be, a meeting that is going to be seeking more clarity, asking more questions to Johannesburg leadership and also to the provincial leadership. So that's what we are not sure about, but it's an issue that, we figured the Secretary General of the ANC, on behalf of the ANC, took very seriously, issuing statements saying that, well, there must be an internal investigation that is going to get to the bottom of this particular issue. But also, when those ballots were discovered, there were criminal cases that were involved, police were involved, so that has also been a debatable issue in terms of why were law enforcement agencies involved before, the internal investigations of the ANC. So we're going to get more clarity between 6 o'clock, which is now, and 7 o'clock before that meeting starts, in terms of what is going to be on the agenda, what is going to be the nature of that particular meeting, but also get a sense of whether, post the meeting, you're going to get more details in terms of what was discussed and what were the outcomes, and maybe we can then expect only a clear and a very direct briefing from the Office of Secretary General of the ANC about what those outcomes were. So that's where things are at right now, but we can confirm that ANC Johannesburg is meeting with Fikile Mbalula and the leadership of the ANC in the province.
Ziniko Mhlaba, the matter of the Johannesburg conference of the ANC may not be the only political hot potato on the table right now. The Secretary General himself mentioned at the ongoing inquiries, both in Parliament and at the Madlanga Commission, and mentioned in the not so positive light. So I suspect he may not only field questions about Johannesburg, but relating to himself and the roles he would have played before occupying this position. Thank you very much for the time being.